Hi, I'm Joe, a random bystander. So I'd like to actually pick on what Rafizi said about the main objective of this whole move is to diffuse racial and religious tensions. So my question would be, I mean, to him and to the others is, what would it look like for Anwar to control this whole issue? What would he do differently from Tan Sri Khalid? And as Datuk Farouk alluded to, he talked about Jaya being a state within a state. So I don't know too much about what Jaya is actually, influenced by or what. But there are clearly a lot of stakeholders that are influenced by many different stakeholders outside from Pakatan. And how are you going to keep that all in control? And also because, referring to the Allah issue, for example, I think it's still quite a popular opinion, for example, depending on what religion and race you come from, that they will hold certain opinions about the issue, and how is Anwar going to control all of that, and what would be different from Khalid? That's what I'm trying to ask. Yeah.
How Anwar would have done things differently. You see, all these issues on Kalimah Allah, on confiscation of Bible, these are all political issues. Now, political issues means you have to confront it immediately. And how do you do it? Sometimes you make instructions. Sometimes you make political statements. Sometimes you make a move politically. Before others make a move. I think Jais remains a big question mark in Selangor. Some people mention there is a government within a government. So, do we allow it to continue? Can we sit down and discuss what kind of influence and control and accountability of a Selangor government exco in charge of Islam can have over Jais? These are all the issues that requires not just clarification, but perhaps a firmer hand in order to deal with it. If we deal with it rather administratively, not only that we delay the problem, but delaying the problem allows for unchallenged a status quo, which means that if certain parties in Selangor feel that they are out of touch, they are out of reach, ataupun they cannot be touched, these are certain issues that have to be confronted and discussed and managed politically. These are not administrative issues. I give you an example about the NEP. There's a very big difference between a politician confronted with an issue of race and religion and discrimination like NEP. There is a big difference between a politician managing it and perhaps an administrator. An administrator will discuss it differently. A politician will say it is wrong, we have to move away from NEP to needs-based policy. There's a big difference. Same, I think, in the case of race-religion complex in Selangor. If there is anything, I can understand that Tan Sri Khalid perhaps has been very careful in managing all this. It has helped us in the first term because perhaps preserving the stability and the trust of all the stakeholders are important for us to sustain the first term. But then again, when UMNO switched the gear and the attacks are different, then you have to wonder whether a very careful management of such issues will deliver the right results or not. So I think that Sri Anwar, as a political leader, I think will provide a stronger leadership, a better clarity, and perhaps in some circumstances, a more prompt action when confronted with the kind of issues that we have seen in the last 7 months. How is it going to happen? Well, I think, my hope is very simple. Okay, my hope is very simple. I hope having Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim on the ground in Selangor in whatever capacity will spook UMNO so much so that it will take them 1 year to figure out how to respond. Which I think is going to be the case. You know, they have to go back to the drawing board. They will think, how is Anwar going to react and going to attack us on this? I know, because that's what politicians do. You know, we always wonder, if we move one place, how is our opponent going to respond and react correspondingly? We hope by having Anwar Ibrahim, and when events unfold in the next 2 or 3 months, that will spook UMNO so much, and we know that UMNO is quite slow to catch up, you know. So, you know, if we take 2 months to figure out what to do, UMNO hopefully will take maybe 1 year in what to do. Once, I think, a different political challenge is being put in place in Selangor.